So boys, the third thing we've looked at this week in terms of fractions is improper fractions as well as mixed numerals. Now, we know that an improper fraction is when, the numerator, so in this case 10, is larger than the denominator. So in this case, let's say 4. Okay, so that's an improper fraction where the top number, which is the numerator, is larger than the bottom, which is the denominator. Now, that's the first thing. We got to look at how can we make this a little bit easier of a fraction to work with. So we need to convert this, to a mixed numeral. Okay, that's what we need to convert this to, a mixed numeral. Now, a mixed numeral has whole numbers and it has a fraction as well. Okay, so if we're converting 10/4 into a mixed numeral to go from an improper fraction to a mixed numeral, you need to ask yourself, how many times does the denominator go into the numerator? That's what you need to ask yourself first. So in this case, we can say we know that the 4 goes into 10 2 times. So let's put 2 holes there, because 2 times 4 equals 8, So how much does that leave over? How much does that leave left? We've got, that means there's 2 left over. There's 2 parts left over. So that's how we come up with our fraction side of our mixed numeral. We have 2 left over, and our denominator, we're doing parts of 4, so our denominator is 2/4. So that means turning 10/4 into a mixed numeral would be the same as 2 wholes and 2/4. Let's do one more. Let's do another one. Say if I give you, let's go 16 thirds. So you need to ask yourself, how many times does 3 go into 16? We should be able to know from our multiplication, 3 times 5 equals 15. So that means we've got 5 wholes, because 3 times 5 equals 15. With how much left over? Well, the difference between 15 and 16 is 1. So that means we've got 1 left over, and because we're working in thirds, that would be 1/3. So we have 5 wholes and 1/3. So that's going from an improper fraction to a mixed numeral. Now, the tricky one is going from a mixed numeral to an improper fraction. So going back the other way. So let's say if I give you 2 wholes, and 1/5. We need to convert this to an improper fraction, so our numerator needs to be larger than our denominator. Now, for us to do that, we need to work out what are we working with? What type of parts are we working with? Well, we're working with fifths, We're working with fifths. So 2 wholes, or in this case, would be the same as 5/5, that's 1 whole, plus 5/5. That's 2 wholes, because 5/5 plus 5/5 equals 10/5, which is the same as 2 wholes. So that's here. So what we must do is we must go 2 times 5. That's the first thing you should do, because that's what we know what we can start to put on top for our numerator. So if we go 2 times 5, that equals 10/5, and that leaves left 1/5. So now we can add these together, because remember the denominators are the same, so that means it's a simple addition sum. 10/5 plus 1/5 equals 11/5. Let's do one more. Let's do another one, because it's a bit tricky and it's something that I know we need to practice. If I give you 3 wholes, and 6/10. So the first thing that we need to know is that we're working with tenths, So what I should do first is I need to work out how many, what 3 wholes is the same as. That's what we need to do, is work out how much 3 wholes is the same as. So if we do 3 times 10, that equals 30, okay? So 30 over 10 is the same as 3 wholes. So if we've got 30 over 10 here, we've still got this part of our mixed numeral left, 6/10. So now we add that on. 30 over 10 plus 6 over 10 equals 36 over 10. Now, if we were to convert that back to a mixed numeral, a mixed numeral, we would go, how many times does 10 go into 36? Well, it goes 3 times with 6 left over. Can you see the correlation from what we started with? We started with 3 and 6/10. We got to 36/10 before our final answer goes, just to check, goes back to 3 and 6/10. One more, just to be sure. Okay. So say, let's go a little bit trickier one again, okay? Let's go 5 and 8 over 3. Now, a little bit daunting, just because we've got an improper fraction and a mixed numeral in the same sentence, in the same number. That doesn't make a difference. What we need to first do, okay, is 5 times 3. So 5 times, to work out how much 5 wholes would be. So 5 times 3 would be 15. And we're working with thirds, so that means it would be 15 over 3. Now, we've still got our 8 thirds left over. So now we must add that on. 15 over 3 plus 8 over 3, okay, equals 23 over 3. Now, if we were to convert that into a mixed numeral, just to practice, how many times does 3 go into 23? Well, it goes 7 times, because 7 times 3 equals 21, which means we've got 2 left over, which would be 2/3. So 7 and 2/3 is actually the same as 5 and 8/3. That's called an equivalent fraction. Okay, they might not look the same, but they actually have the same value. Okay, hopefully that gives you a little bit of a heads up. Any questions, ask me in class.